Welcome. Pregnancy and lactation are not just biological events. They are sacred seasons, thresholds that are more than just physical. These are emotional, spiritual, and generational times. And what you eat during these times doesn't simply nourish your body. It becomes part of the blueprint your baby is building from. This is the power of epigenetics, the study of how our environment, what we eat, how we sleep, what we're exposed to, and even how we feel can shape how genes are expressed. You're not rewriting your child's DNA, but you are helping determine how that DNA gets read, what's activated and what's quieted, what grows and what waits. I'm not here to instill fear or restrictions. This is about reverence and choice. It's about nourishing a conversation that's already happening between you and this new life. Let's explore some choices that support this connection by turning away from substances that can interfere with fetal and infant development and towards foods that carry life, rhythm, and wisdom. Highly processed foods are the first to examine. These tend to be stripped of their original nutrients and filled instead with synthetic additives, stabilizers, artificial colors, and preservatives. Research shows that frequent consumption of ultra-processed foods during pregnancy can disrupt your gut microbiome, affecting placental function and increase the risk of metabolic issues on your baby later on. Your baby's earliest immune blueprint is being sketched in your gut. Yes, yours. What lives and thrives in your gut becomes a source of inherited strength for your baby. Instead of reaching for packages designed for shelf life, go for what's alive. Think of foods that grow from the earth, crisp greens, fermented vegetables, pastured eggs. All of these carry information that your body recognizes and your baby can use. Pesticide exposure is another quiet disruptor, especially during fetal development. Many conventional fruits and vegetables, especially those thin-skinned ones like berries and spinach, contain residues from glyphosate and other pesticides that may affect neurodevelopment and hormone balance. These substances can cross the placenta. They can also show up in breast milk. And while no one can avoid every toxin, choosing organic when possible, especially for the most pesticide-prone foods, can offer meaningful protection. And if organic produce isn't always accessible to you, rinse the produce that you do get well. Soak it in water with vinegar or baking soda, and then focus on local options whenever possible. Packaging and food storage matter too. Plastics, especially when heated, can leach endocrine-disrupting chemicals such as BPA and phthalate into food and drinks. And these substances mimic hormones and may interfere with fetal signaling in subtle but significant ways. Whenever possible, store food in glass containers. Use beeswax wraps and say no to canned food with linings when fresh options exist. Caffeine and alcohol are nuanced. Caffeine can be a comfort, a ritual even, but excessive intake has been linked to low birth weight and altered cortisol patterns. Alcohol, even in small amounts, may affect the developing brain through epigenetic shifts. That doesn't mean that you're doomed if you had a glass of wine before you knew that you were pregnant. It means we know more now, and we get to make informed choices moving forward. Herbal teas like raspberry leaf or chamomile are nourishing alternatives. And then there are fats. Industrial seed oils like soybean and corn oil can increase inflammation and may disrupt fetal cell development. Instead, reach for whole food fats, avocados, olive oil, and pastured ghee, fats that know how to build a baby's brain. Through the lens of the soul diet, seasonal, organic, unprocessed, and local, each choice becomes less about restriction and more about alignment. What comes from the earth, close to home, in its whole form, is what your body remembers and what your baby receives. This is not about doing it all. It's about doing what you can with love, presence, and intention. Because what you're growing is not just a child. You're growing trust, you're growing intuition, you're growing the kind of resilience that speaks not only through genes, but through the presence that you bring to the table. I'm here if you need support on this journey. You've got this, Mama.